So the Delosperma. So the Delosperma. What is it? So the Delosperma. What is it? So the Delosperma Echinatum is. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Hey guys, in all honesty, pickles aren't my favorite. I do have a sweet spot, however, for these small little gherkins, go figure. Anyways, this right here is the pickle plant, and unlike the ugly pickles we eat, this guy right here is pretty adorable. Stick around, I'm going to be sharing all of the important crucial care tips, including propagation and more. Thanks for checking out this video. I'm Tyler, and if you like what you're seeing or you find this video useful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, or better yet, you can subscribe to my channel. So the Delosperma Echinatum is another fantastic houseplant, you guessed it, it's obviously from South Africa. The pickle plant is a succulent, so no surprises there. Some folks do call this plant the ice plant. Now, this plant does have shrub-like characteristics in terms of the way it grows, and it can reach a height of around 1.5 feet. So think, small shrub. Before jumping into crucial care, I do need to repot this plant, so let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so you probably already know that using pots with drainage is pretty important, especially when it comes to succulents. However, we don't always have pots with drainage laying around, and that's unfortunately the case I'm in right now, but I do have a solution. So if you are going to be using a pot without drainage holes, I do have a few recommendations. There are a few things you can do to ensure that your plant is happy. Here is a little cactus that I have, and this is a container without drainage, and this guy's been in here for quite some time, and as you can see, he is doing perfectly fine, and I'm basically going to use a slightly larger version of the same pot without drainage. And the first thing that I do is I add about 1.5 to 2 inches of horticultural charcoal, and this does basically a couple of things. It provides that 1 to 2 inches worth of distance between the base of the container and the actual soil mix, so that the roots are elevated from the bottom, and that charcoal also is going to absorb excess water, so that so it's kind of, replicating, not quite exactly, but similar effect to having a drainage hole. Now, all of that being said, you are going to want to pay a lot more attention to the amount of water that you put in a pot like this, because obviously there's limitations. At a certain point, too much water is still going to be too much water without the drainage holes. So it does require a little bit more thoughtfulness and, carefulness when you are watering a pot like this. So ideally, drainage holes would work best, but life isn't perfect and we can't always do that kind of thing. So today I'm going to be using this sort of bonsai succulent mix that I usually have, around, and let's take a look at how this plant's looking. So, it's pretty dry. I've been a little bit reluctant to water it, knowing that I'm going to be repotting it. The root system is pretty small. Doesn't look unhealthy, but could probably use a nice good drink. So let's see if I can break any of this apart. I'll loosen up the roots at the bottom. So I'm not looking to do anything too crazy. I don't think I'm going to be able to get, too much of this original mix out, but all right, so there we go. Repotted. Time for a nice good watering as well. All right, let's talk quickly about what conditions the pickle plant prefers and needs. In terms of lighting, these plants do like full sun, so I give this little guy what it deserves, and I do place him in a south-facing window and about once a week. And you're gonna wanna water this even less in the winter time. So just make sure that the soil is completely drying out at that top level, and then you know that it's time to give it another watering. Now, like I said earlier, I've been a little bit reluctant to water this, first because I knew I was going to be repotting it, but also because it's been overcast you know, in this area in Boston for the last week or so, and it just hasn't been getting as much sun as I had hoped, so I didn't want to, you know, overwater it without that sun, that bright sun. And as we know, watering is totally a function of the soil mix and the amount of light that it's receiving. So, you know, just be a little bit cautious and thoughtful when it comes to watering, especially succulents. So he just got a healthy watering now, and he should be good for, I'd say, probably the next week or so. Otherwise, the pickle plant is pretty chill, calm as a cucumber. Propagating the pickle plant is relatively easy as well. You can do so by taking a cutting or two. I'm gonna do that right now to show you how it's done. So use a nice pair of clean, sharp shears, as always. I'm gonna take a cutting. So as you can see, I've taken a piece, and I'm gonna need to remove some of these lower, you know, remove the little pickles, basically, so that you have some length to pot up. I'm gonna remove this third one as well, just nice and gently. I'm gonna try some rooting hormone, give that a go, see if that works or helps it out. So just a little goes a long way, and I'm just going to use this to create a little dent in there. All right, perfect. So I'm just using some coconut coir and perlite mix just to get this guy started. Now you can go ahead and try to also pot up the little pieces, little pickles that you took off, because those might go ahead and root as well. So it's worth the try. Yeah. There you go, it's as simple as that. Well, that's it for me. Oh yeah, if you haven't already given this video a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. It would mean the world. Miss you guys already. Until the next one.